all the little rivalries between them are still
Yes.
going to be there. Like Raph is still going to get annoyed at Leo, but the underlying love between them, that's what we want to emphasize.
Hey guys, I am Joe Deckelmeyer with Screen Rant. We are in our shooting suite. I am joined by the incredible Gene Luen Yang, Eisner Award winner. Gene Luen Yang. You're going to be writing Ninja Turtles. You're taking over. This is a fresh take on the Turtles. We have a new villain, and we're going to be talking about what we can expect from the series. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up a hardcore Ninja Turtle fans, even playing with the figures and telling your own stories way back when you were a kid. But we're doing this new fresh take on the Turtles. Talk to me about balancing that deep nostalgia with the fresh storytelling perspective that you're bringing to the project.
Yeah, well, thanks, Joe. It's awesome to be here. You guys have like the best set ever. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan. I think anybody growing up in the 80s and 90s was a Ninja Turtles fan. I remember playing with the figures with my brother. I remember watching the cartoon on TV. And I remember making up our own stories, right, while we were playing with those action figures. So to get to actually work on Ninja Turtles proper with IDW right now is something of a dream come true. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot of nostalgia that's around the Turtles for me. You know, it's not just from childhood. I got my start in comics as a self-publisher, and my very first comic that I self-published was actually funded by the Zurich Grant, which was Peter Laird's organization, right? So Ninja Turtles have had my back from the very beginning of my career. So to come on to Ninja Turtles, I think what I had to do was first, I wanted to lean into that love. I wanted to remember what it was that my brother and I loved about the Turtles when we were kids. And then two, I wanted to see what IDW had done with the Turtles up until this point, because they really have like this really full mythology, you know, that's distinct from all the other versions of Turtles. And I think those two things together, hopefully we're going to blend into something new.
That is incredible. This is full circle for you.
It really is. Yeah, it really feels full circle. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, we're jumping into the story where the Turtles are optimistic again. What kind of emotional headspace is each brother in when the story starts, and how does that set the stage for the events to come?
I am a really big fan of the Jason Aaron run. You know, I was following his run before I signed on to do the Turtles. I think he did something really fun and really deep. You know, he started the Turtles off separate, and then by the end of his arc, they're going to come back together, and that brotherhood between them will be like a huge emphasis. So that's what we're leaping into. Is we're leaping into, Freddie and I are going to really lean into the fact that they're brothers and that they really enjoy being with each other again, you know. So all the little rivalries between them are still going to be there. Like Raph is still going to get annoyed at Leo, but the underlying love between them, that's what we want to emphasize.
Well, I want to touch on that a little bit more, because Turtles has always been about brotherhood, but also identity. As someone who's explored those themes with books like American Born Chinese, how do you plan on evolving that dynamic between the brothers?
Well, I mean, it's there, right? Especially in the IDW version. In the IDW version, they are actually reincarnations of these brothers from feudal Japan. So in a very real way, they're like Asian Americans. You know, they were born in Asia and now they're growing up in New York. So we really want to lean into that as well. You know, I think something I've always appreciated about the Turtles is how they bring Japanese culture into like the context of modern day New York, and we want to do that too. We want to. There are especially the villain in our first arc will emphasize that connection back to like old Japan.
Let's touch on that, because we do have a new villain, and I hope I pronounce his name right. Ujigami. That's right. Ujigami. He's the new assassin, Ujigami. He sounds like a major force. Can you talk about your approach and his design with his he's a martial arts villain, and he's really pushing the Turtles this time around, physically and philosophically, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a question about him, about whether he's an ally of the Turtles or whether he's an enemy of the Turtles, right? His methods are totally different from the Turtles, from everything that the Turtles stand for, but then some of his goals are the same. So that'll kind of push them in terms of their morals. And Ujigami, the name actually comes from Japanese folk beliefs. So an Ujigami is a spirit that protects a place. So this will be like the spirit that protects New York City but he does it in a different way than the turtles do.
I'm excited. I'm excited to explore this. Now, you said that martial arts storytelling is a mix of action and philosophy. Can you talk about writing fight scenes for TMNT that aren't just cool, but also have something to say about the characters?
Yeah. This is actually something that I got from a guy named Hung, who I had the honor of working on American Born Chinese, the television show for Disney Plus, and there's like a lot of kung fu fights in that, right? And I got to know the fight coordinator who also worked on Shang-Chi, and he says when you have a fight, it's not just about the action. You also have to understand the character's motivation. Like one thing you got to know is, like, are they trying to kill each other, right? Or are they just trying to stop each other? Do they actually love each other and they don't know it? Like, all of these questions you have to answer. And I think my hope is that in our run of the Turtles, you'll be able to feel that. You know, even if you as a reader aren't conscious of it, you'll be able to feel, oh, you know, like Raph is mad at Leo, but he still loves him.
Right.
You know?
That's so cool. Now, with Mutant Mayhem, it introduced TMNT to a whole new generation, a whole new audience of fans. Do you feel any pressure or excitement in crafting what may be somebody's first time picking up a Ninja Turtle comic?
I love Mutant Mayhem, by the way. Our whole family did. I have a son and 3 daughters. The 3 daughters especially were not Turtles fans. And then that movie made them Turtles fans. Yeah, it really is fantastic. What I really loved about that movie is actually the teenage voices.
Yes.
So I come out of the world of YA. You know, that's kind of, you know, after self-publishing, I kind of landed in the world of YA graphic novels. So I'm hoping that we can lean into the teenage voices of the Turtles as well.
I was just going to ask you about that, about how, you know, obviously TMNT, I also love that teenage energy because I felt like it's something we hadn't really seen before or heard before with the Turtles. So talk to me about tapping into that vibe on this run.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, right? So for somebody who might be reading issue number 13 for the very first time, and that is their introduction to Turtles, I'm hoping that the way in which the teenage voices drew me and my daughters into Mutant Mayhem, I'm hoping that the comic will do the same.
That's
I was a high school teacher for a really long time. I taught high school in Oakland for 17 years. I was surrounded by teenage voices, so I'm hoping to channel some of that into the story as well.
Some of these students may pick this up and be like, that sounds a lot like me.
That
TMNT has seen apocalypses, invasions, and betrayals, but what's the core conflict or emotional threat in your first arc for this run?
Yeah, the emotional threat is the tension between good and evil, right? Like, is it possible to walk through evil to get to a destination of good?
I love it.
That's what we're hoping for.
I can't wait. Now, do you plan on giving each turtle their moment to shine, or is this more of an ensemble with the turtles?
Oh, absolutely. No. Each issue of our arc will have a different narrator. So every turtle will have one issue where they're the narrator.
I love that. Now, after spending so much time in the turtles' heads, what surprised you the most about writing the fun dialogue for these characters that you've loved?
I mean, some of it is like how naturally it came out. And I think it's because, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and all the creators that followed them, they really established these characters, right? Like they've gotten to the point where they're like archetypes.
Right.
So I bet all of us, if we close our eyes, we can hear the turtles' voices, and the 4 of them are distinct. You know.
Absolutely. Now, look, last question for you. Prince Pizza is right down the road. It's quite amazing when we know the Ninja Turtles love pizza. Do you have a pizza topping that the Ninja Turtles would look at you and be like, dude, that guy has it all wrong?
I have to say that I am partial to Hawaiian pizza, and I know that pineapple is controversial. But my understanding is the Turtles, at least one of them likes every kind of pizza.
There you go. Gene, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I cannot wait for
Joe.
this book. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming by.